Ever feel like you're stuck spiritually? Let's talk about how to break free. Hey guys, it's John sitting here in my studio having a glass of water, enjoying my day. I hope you're having a fabulous time wherever you are. Have you ever felt like your spiritual practice just isn't working anymore? Like you've read the books, you've done the meditations, but nothing feels alive. Nothing feels present. My friend, you're not failing. This is actually part of the natural path of awakening. And in this video, we're going to dive deep into why spiritual plateaus happen and how to move through them with present moment awareness. What is a spiritual plateau? It's actually a moment of discontent. We come to a moment where we don't feel like we're growing anymore. We feel like we're leveling off. But that is precisely the moment that you're about to have the new breakthrough, the new idea. Well, those breakthroughs come when we have come to a point of our awareness that we're ready for the next level of awareness, the next broadening or expanding of our consciousness or spirit. If you compare this to like physical workouts, muscles plateau before breaking through to new strength. People work out and they have to get to this next weight that they're working towards. And when they get to that weight, it becomes a plateau for them. And they push themselves through to the next weight that they're working through. The human tendency is to interpret stillness as stagnation. But sometimes the stillness itself is the recuperation or the growth that's happening in the moment, experiencing what you've learned, experiencing what your awareness has broadened out into. You know, I studied meditation for years, and I did them all: monster meditations, breathing meditations, candle meditations, walking meditations, guided meditations. I did them all. But I came to a plateau where none of them were really giving me the experience, but my broadened awareness was that all of these methods, modalities, and techniques were bringing me to something far more simple, which was the broader awareness that I have a choice to let go. I have the choice to set down the methods, modalities, and techniques and just be in the next level of awareness. Things stopped working because I was focusing on things working as opposed to stepping into that next level, breaking free of the plateau and realizing that this is far more broad, far more expansive. There is no path to happiness. Happiness is the path. That's Buddha. Being in the now, living in the present, and choosing in every aspect of whatever's happening in your idea, that happiness is the path. Even when you've come to what you would consider a plateau, if you look at that plateau as, I've come to a new place. I'm now in a greater awareness, and I don't have to worry about how I got here. And I can open myself up to bring in more and express more. Society rewards achievement, and we expect inner growth because of that. The conditioning is of constant progress. And then we have that seeking mentality, and then we fall into spiritual consumerism, chasing the next teacher, the next book, the next retreat, mistaking novelty for depth. The ego is just our awareness of our individuality, but with that ego becomes the concept of threat assessment. The ego feels threatened when deeper transformation approaches, so it slows down the process. It makes us start to get paralyzed. Remember, fear is always the paralyzer. Thomas Merton talked of the dark night of the soul, how plateaus can feel like abandonment, but are really purifying stages. Climbing a mountain, plateaus are places of rest, where we acclimate before the next ascent. It's the place where we allow ourselves to just have a break, have a moment. But when you're in that place of rest and you're feeling the discomfort, those are signs of being spiritually stagnant. The practices feel empty or mechanical. There's a loss of joy or freshness because we're stuck in a meditation or a prayer or a cycle of method, modality, technique. We become cynical. Maybe none of this even works. We start to say, oh my gosh, what am I doing? I'm wasting my life doing these things. Comparing your progress to others can often lead you to that same situation where you're saying, well, look what they've done. How come they're so happy? What's happening with them? All we are is declaring in our present moment that we're stagnant, that we're stuck. And you will remain stuck as long as you choose to believe that you're stuck, constantly craving for more. But dissatisfaction is all you're going to get because you're craving for more, which means you're declaring your lack in the now. Oftentimes people will learn meditation and then they'll start asking the question, when do I get enlightened? Missing that the question itself is a barrier. That idea that when do I get enlightenment is the declaration that you're not in the here and now. Nothing can block you without your permission. And reframing plateaus as growth in disguise changes the entire experience. It puts you into a new level of awareness that is like, oh, this is just one phase of my growth, my spiritual growth. It's an integration phase. The body, the mind, the spirit is digesting past growth before it throws you into the next, before you start to become more aware of what's going on around you. It's an invisible progress. Just like when seeds germinate underground. I used to do landscaping and we used to tell people, you throw your grass seeds out and you water it at least 45 minutes every day for 7 to 14 days because that's the germination period. You might not see much happening, but understanding that you continue to water that growth, continue to, even when we don't see it, we continue to water it, and that's what creates beautiful grounds. And that grass grows and grows before you, and you start to see those external results.
And now, a quick word from our sponsor. Coffee Time with John. This channel runs off coffee, so get your coffee and tea at johnsjoe.com.
Jeshua said the kingdom of heaven is like a mustard seed. Though it is the smallest, it becomes the largest tree. That concept that things start small. And when you come to a plateau where you believe that you're stuck, that's just the germination cycle. That's just the moment where growth is happening faster. A bodybuilder will go into the gym and they'll lift all those weights and they'll do all those things. But the biggest and most professional bodybuilders out there will tell you growth happens in the rest. When you're letting your body heal and come back to that place where it's filling in new muscle fiber. Bamboo trees grow underground for years before start shooting up. And when they do shoot up, they become very tall and very big and they grow exponentially. And for those of us who did landscaping, they become annoying because you have to constantly try to cut their roots to stop them from growing. Your growth is like a bamboo tree. You're always growing. You're always expanding. You're always in this place. And the limitations of belief are those landscapers trying to cut your roots. Let go of the limitations of belief and expand. Practices for moving beyond that stuck feeling can be as simple as shifting your perspective. Instead of, I'm not growing, reframe, I am growing. I am integrating. I am expanding. I am coming to that next place where I'm about to explode into a new awareness that's a bit greater than I've ever expected. Another practice might be your personal gratitude. Be grateful for this moment of stillness because this moment of stillness allows you to clear your mind and start to notice, oh, this is so beautiful. I'm so grateful that I have this moment. I'm so grateful I've gotten to this point in my life where I know these things and now I'm expanding into something more. I'm so grateful that the new awareness that's coming is exposing itself and showing itself to me daily. And then when you break the cycle of belief that you're lacking and you start shifting into the belief that you're receiving, you start to receive the experiences. And then what happens is you're no longer stuck. You're no longer stagnating. And when you start to notice things in presence, you start to understand that you have the ability in this one particular moment to say, I'm not stuck. I am growing and change the entire experience. If where you are and the things that you have been doing feel stagnant, step out of the routine. Walk out in nature, attend a different community, practice being silent. Start listening and start hearing the experiences around you. And once you break free of the routines that are associated with your stagnation, you create new movement. If you have a moment where things seem so chaotic and the chatter of the mind is ruling your day, practice silence. Sit down, exhale, come back to that place and just know that you're whole. Know that you're well. Know that your greater awareness is inevitable and is coming into your experience in the now. Every so often, try unplugging from devices that keep your mind in the chatter and reset back to that awareness of, no, I am. Take every action of every day and every moment and deepen the presence. Understand that this present moment, though it may seem ordinary, is divine. Jeshua said, take no thought for tomorrow. Be here today. Be in this moment. Don't worry about the next level of awareness. It's coming. It's a foregone conclusion. When you sit down to eat a meal, enjoy that meal. Understand, if God is love, then the things that you love and the things that you practice in love are delivering God. It's the greatest expression of all spirituality. When we say God, consciousness, universe, yada, yada, we're talking about the highest level of spirituality. Well, God is love. And when you are living love and loving eating and loving doing artwork and loving nature, and you're expressing that highest form of spirituality in the now. Mindful eating, mindful walking, mindful chores. You can wash dishes in full presence, and that can be a sacred moment for you to understand that I have the ability. I remember one time I was on a plane and I was reading a book and it was talking about being present. And it's literally said, put the book down and become very aware of where you are right now. And I sat the book down and I was on that plane and I was looking and I realized I was on a plane. I had the ability to be on a plane flying somewhere. Where was I flying? I was flying to somewhere wonderful and exciting. And I was going to go meet new people and find new friends and talk about spirituality. And then I realized that I was sitting on this plane and it was an experience where I was in flight. How amazing is it for me to be in flight, to put myself in the completely present moment? And I became in awe of what was happening in the present, in that moment. And then suddenly a hand reached out and touched my own hand. And I looked beside me and I realized I had someone who loved me right beside me. How sacred is that? How sacred is that moment where that person knew I was going through something and just touched my hand because she could feel that I was going through something and express that love in that moment. You don't need to compare yourself spiritually to anybody else. Stop looking sideways at other people's journeys. That's their journey. Spirituality is a personal journey, and you have the ability in this moment to live it fully and declare that your path is unique and exactly where you need to be is here and now. And every moment breeds another moment. But that moment that's coming into your life will be an expression of what you believe in this present moment now. Embrace the plateaus. Embrace the rest. Rest is not laziness. It's fuel for deeper growth. It's the thing that we need to grow ourselves into that next level of experience. Spiritual plateaus often coincide with burnout, but burnout is a subjective choice. Are you burned out or are you resting? That concept of burnout is in fact a negative belief that you've thrown into your world. Krishna said, thought by thought you forge your destiny. Therefore, to keep your mind on the positive rather than the negative is considered the austerity of the mind. So if that's the case, why focus on burnout when you can focus on rest and growth? Stay keeping yourself in that space. There are many well-known spiritual teachers, Ram Dass, Teresa of Avila, who experienced long dry periods. They felt stagnated. They felt like they weren't achieving. But then look at their life overall. All that was a fleeting moment in a beautiful life of expression. In my own experiences working with clients, I run into people who are declaring stagnation every day. When you talk to them for a few minutes and you identify what they're saying about their present moment, you reveal their own truth that they're stuck, that they're stagnant, but it's a choice. They get to choose that experience of being stuck or stagnant. A river coming down will come into a lower depression. It'll pool before it moves forward. It'll pool up before it overbursts the wall of that depression and flows further. That's what happens is we build ourselves up so that we have the power to overcome. We build ourselves up that we have the greater awareness to experience the greater awareness and understand it. Those pools of collection are just moments of rest. They are the plateaus. And if you're looking for ways to break free of it, start journaling the things that are coming out of your mouth. What are you labeling as stagnation that might actually be an integration? What are you declaring is a sticking point when in reality it's rest? And then once you start to figure out what you're believing in those moments, take the next moments and challenge yourself with one mindful act per day for a week. Just say, oh, that was what I was thinking. Well, this week I'm not going to do that. This week I am doing this. And put the positive outcome in front of you. And as you start to see growth and as you start to experience this new direction, this new greater awareness that's dropping ahead of you, make sure you come back here and share your comments, share your plateau stories, and how just shifting the mind changed your entire experience. Come back to this place and let us know so that we can expand our spirits together by literally coming back and sharing how you did it. Plateaus aren't failure. They're preparation. If you feel stuck, you're not broken. It's just a sacred pause that is preparing you for the next experience. Share your story below. Let's help each other see that being stuck actually part of moving forward. And being stuck can be a blessing because it's not stuck. It's just rest. And that's my thought on this. You guys have a great day. And I'll talk to you soon. See ya. Bye.